Jai Gurudev, Jai Masters. Depending on how clear you are, people hear the teachings at different stages of their growth, different ways. That's why it's good to go over them, not repeat them, but hit them from different angles, because people hear them differently. So for example, surrender. People write, having read Experiment with Surrender, that it means you don't do anything. You just wait for life to unfold, and then whatever it does, you do. And that's not what surrender is. Surrender is something you do inside, and the only thing you're ever surrendering is yourself, is your ego, is your stuff, or your samskaras, your issues that you stored in there from before, so that things come in, they hit them, and there's the reactionary energy, always reactionary, that either I want this or I don't want this, based upon what it hits. If it hits something that brings up nice things, it feels good, then you're attracted to it and you're inspired by it, and you want that. If it's something, and usually it does, that's disturbing or not so comfortable, then you don't want that. You want to fight that. You want to resist that. You don't have that experience. You don't have that experience. Surrender is to be conscious enough to let go of that initial reaction. It's a reaction. It's not a clarity of what to do or where to go or what you're supposed to do. It's not God telling you, oh, you're inspired by this, so go do it, or you don't feel comfortable with this, so that means you're not supposed to do it. That's what you surrender. You surrender inside that initial reaction that comes from your stuff. It comes from your ego. It comes from your personal self. Do you let go of it perfectly? No one lets go of it perfectly, except an enlightened master. Okay? You just do the best you can to stay conscious enough in order to let go of that initial reaction, an initial wave of energy, which is always your samskaras. It's always stuff that the outside comes in and it hits what's in there. The question is, are you conscious enough, clear enough, centered enough to handle that initial reaction, which is always going to try and either protect itself or get what it wants. Get what it wants or avoid what it doesn't want. That's your initial reaction, always. Get it, get away from it. Okay? And it depends on who you are and what past experience you had as to how you react to different things. Even in one day you'll react one way, another day you'll react another way, because of experiences you had during the day. So surrender means letting go of that initial reaction and finding out that you're still there. Your consciousness is still there. The initial reaction, some of this power has passed because you didn't go with it. You didn't get into it. People say that, should I get into my emotions? Some people teach you to get into your emotions, okay? It's not the highest path. The highest path, which you may not be able to do, okay, let's get this straight. We're talking about the levels of teachings, is when the emotion comes up, the ocean of commotion comes up, can you handle that initial reaction? Not can you get into it and express it or do something with it. And I've always taught you, the lowest thing you can do is suppress. Why? It doesn't work anything out. You have stuff in there, it comes up, push it back down. Control the situation outside. Let's talk about that for a moment. If something comes up that you can't handle inside, you try to push it away. Okay? If you're trying to control the situation outside so that it doesn't come in and hit your stuff, that's suppression also. You're just doing it indirectly. Okay? If I know you're going to say something that's going to bother me, I tell you to shut up. Don't you dare say that. I've suppressed the energy by pushing it away outside before I have to deal with it inside. That's deep now. Anyone understand? Okay, all right. It doesn't mean you don't do these things. It's all a question of what's the highest way you can handle your energies. So if somebody says something and you freak out and you're about to hit them or run away or do some terrible thing or say something back to hurt them or something, you are better off pushing it away temporarily. Call it suppression, repression, resistance, whatever. It's energy that comes inside of you. You are always better off not going with that energy. You're always better off. Somebody says something to you to insult you, go on, say something back. See what happens. Now you both got garbage all over you. It's never, ever the right way to deal with things, to deal with them reactively and just dump, all right? Grab or dump. So if you have to, you inside hold it together. That's what you're doing. You hold it together, which is a form of repression or suppression. Resistance, call it resistance. It's coming in and I can't handle it. Okay, hold it now. Hold it. You have to hold it. But don't you dare leave it there. Only a fool would leave it there. You understand that temporarily I had to hold this together, otherwise it would have made a big mess, and that's karmic and all kinds of things, ruins relationships and all sorts of stuff, right? Now I've stepped out of the situation. The person didn't say what I thought they were going to say. Hey, I like that one. All right. You would have reacted to what you thought they were going to do, and they didn't do it. Ever do that? Say, whoa, thank God I didn't say anything. Has it ever been wrong in there? Yeah, right. You don't know it's wrong until you make it past your reaction, and then you realize, thank God I didn't say anything. Thank God I didn't react according to what my mind or heart were saying. Okay? But most people don't ever do that because they do react. I know what you were saying. I know what you were going to say. Don't you tell me what I'm going to say. I know what you're going to say. I know you. It's just wonderful. And if you don't say that and you learn to just temporarily hold it together inside and you find out you were totally wrong, you know what you should do? You should stick your tongue out at yourself. Nah, 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 nah. You were wrong. Make sure you call her on it. You understand that? You don't have to get mad. You don't have to feel guilty. Just be aware it can be wrong. And it's wrong a lot of the time. And you're glad that you didn't express the reaction that came up. All right. So that's not real suppression, okay, or repression. It is resistant. You're resisting it because you can't handle it. That's fine. It's not the highest thing you do with it. We'll talk about that. But that's what I'm talking about. There's different levels at which you should hear the teachings. So if I sit there and say, don't suppress, and by not pushing it away, it comes up and you blow up and you start hitting people and screaming and yelling, all right? Don't tell me I told you to do that, okay? So, yes, suppression is a mess. What happens to suppressed energies is like what happens to a virus in a computer. It goes out of sight, and I'm telling you, it touches everything else that's down there, and it bonds to different things. So all of a sudden, you didn't like what this person said, and you think about what everybody else said that was like that, and you don't like them anymore. Oh, all kinds of garbage goes on. Do you understand that? Or, let's get a more close example. You're in a relationship. Somebody says something or does something you don't like, but you don't act jealous. You don't want to do anything like that. So you don't say anything, okay? And then 4 years later, something happens, and out of your mouth comes, yeah, it's the same thing you did last time. You don't know what I'm talking about because you didn't do anything. But they never found that out. They held that inside of them, and then it started being a virus. So suppression is a terrible thing. But if you have to hold energies together, because the alternative is to make a complete mess outside, you're projecting outside the mess that's going on inside, you need to be able to handle yourself. That's where discipline comes in. And that's why so much early in the path they teach you to do this, don't do this, learn to do this, all this discipline stuff. You should be able to handle the reactions that are coming up inside of you, even if you have to temporarily push them away. But then if you understand, if you're wise enough to understand anything you pushed away is staying in there, it leaves what they call scars. It leaves impressions. And therefore it's going to affect the rest of your life. No, I don't want that to affect the rest of my life. I don't want that garbage in there. So that at a later time, it could be 5 minutes after the conversation, it could be in the evening, you go down, you bring it back up, and you handle it. You let it go. The highest thing is to let it go. But you weren't able to do it at that time. So that's what you do with suppression. Just temporarily can hold it together. It is always better to hold it together than to lose it. Do you understand that? Like Master taught that. Yogananda taught that. He said, you meditate, you're a great being, but you're in a conversation with a group of people, and somebody says something that really got your goat. And so now you're in there, and he said, handle it, use it for your growth, but if you can't, nicely and gently turn and walk away. You are better off having made a conscious decision of how to deal with it than let it overcome you. Now, back in must have been 71 or so on, right? There was this beautiful lady down in Casadega, which is a spiritualist center. In college, we used to go down and visit, 68, 69, that kind of thing. We'd go down and visit her. She was a president of, she was a spiritualist, all right? A psychic. It was very psychic, beautiful lady. And her husband was a devotee of Yogananda's, which is amazing. So in any event, she gave me a book to read. It was called Man, Visible and Invisible. I think it's still, you can find it somewhere in publication. And they took some of the top real psychics, not the people that hang on a shingle out, okay? Just people from the Theosophical Society is real, very, very psychic people, all right? And they see auras. They see auras. That's all. That's what they see. They see auras. And they took a great artist to paint somebody's aura like an eggshell, all the different colors and different things. I'll never forget that. I'm sharing it with you purposely, all right? And here's somebody, dark and depressed, and there's the aura. Here's somebody getting married. Here's the aura. And it was just beautiful to see what they saw. Full color, painted off like that. Well, one slide that was really amazing was, here's a normal person with their regular aura. And there was some purple, which is very high color, up over here. A little red, which is anger. Little tendency toward anger over here, and this and that, and just different things in different areas. A little green for jealousy. Literally, the colors were exactly what you think they would be. All right? And there it was. And it said, here is that person. There's their normal state. Here is a person when they get upset, when they get angry. My God, the entire aura flushed with red. That red was just, what was just over here was now everywhere. It feels like that, doesn't it? When you lose it, and the anger comes flying up. Now that's interesting, okay? Except the most interesting part was, here is that person after the anger subsides. And there was more red than there was before it happened. In other words, you got used to vibrating at that level. Okay? And the teaching is, watch it. So when they teach you that the highest thing to do with anger is to express it, no, it's higher to let it go. This thing learns, all right? Your energy patterns learn. And if you learn to release things by getting angry or by getting into jealousy, okay, I'm just going to... Somebody once said, I know how to stop smoking. I smoke a pack a day. I want to stop smoking. I'm going to start smoking 3 packs a day. That way I won't like it, all right? No, they get used to 3 packs a day. Hear me, all right? I'm talking about deep stuff here. So you're in there working with yourself. Okay, temporarily, don't lose it. Don't lose it. The master told you that. The psychic's telling you that. Don't lose it. Losing it creates a habit-formed pattern of energy. It's easier to lose it the next time. You know that. I don't have to tell you. Just say, I'm never, ever going to tell somebody this, right? Then you do. It's much easier to say it again. See, I told you last time. You just got used to working with the energy that way. So you need to be disciplined enough with your energy of how you're dealing with it. And so you don't suppress, because it makes a mess long term, but you may have to hold it together. Use your will to hold your energy together enough to step out of the situation and then deal with it later within yourself. How do you deal with it later? Hopefully, you take some of the things that I teach you all the time, which is notice that you're sitting on a little planet. People say, why do you keep talking about that? Why is it spiritual? Are you kidding me? You're sitting on a tiny little planet, spinning in the middle of absolute black, dark, empty space. 1.3 million of your planet fit inside the sun. That's a big number. 1.3 million. That thing's tiny. There's pictures of, you can't take it of our Earth transiting our star, but there are pictures of a planet equivalent to our size of Earth and equivalent to the size of the sun, where the planet is transiting. I'm telling you, it's like a little black dot against the entire burning sun. That's what you're sitting on. And you can't handle that somebody said something. That's why I teach you that way. And by the way, that's one of 300 billion stars in your galaxy, and there are 2 trillion galaxies. What happened that you couldn't handle? And you're only here for what, 80, 90 years? Come on, guys. That's what you train your mind so that later, if you had trouble handling something, you sit down and you say, I can handle this. I can do this. That's just crazy. That I would just sit on a planet in the middle of nowhere, right? I told you, when somebody asks you, what did you do today? You know what the answer is? A 360. You orbited on your axis. That's what you did today. Hope you had a good time. What did you do this year? A big 360. That's all that's happening. It's been happening for 4.5 billion years. And you're here for how long? And you can't handle what somebody said? So this is how you use your mind, your higher mind, your intellectual mind, your abstract mind, so the personal mind, to raise your energies up. I always say, if somebody says something to you and insults you, how many people are on the planet right now? 8.3 billion? You can't handle what one of them said? They're all saying something, aren't they? You learn to work with yourself. That's what spirituality is all about, your ability to work with your energy. So, suppression, no. Temporarily, willfully, not releasing to anger or jealousy or fear or any of that kind of stuff. All right, just those lower emotions, and then work with them. Learn to raise. The Gita has a beautiful, Gita, one of the deepest writings, says one should raise the self with self, not trample down the self. For self that can be self's friend can become self's enemy. And it talks about self as Atman, capital A, meaning the higher self, and lower A, meaning the lower self. One should raise the self with self. You're in there, you're conscious, okay? Help her out. Raise her up. So we talked about the first level, which is suppression. So suppression is a no-no unless you have to hold things together temporarily, but then come back and let them go. I don't want them there tomorrow. So if somebody says something to you, no, you think somebody's going to say something to you, and it's going to bother you. So you walk away, you say, you do something, you diss them, cold shoulder them, okay? Tomorrow when you see them, that's still there. It's as if they had said it. You're going to react. You'll go around the corner, so you don't have to see them again. I don't have to put up with this. With what? And even if they did say something, big deal, they had a bad day. So they said something. Maybe they had a bad phone call before they talked to you. They ate some pepperoni pizza and it was not good, all right? And they got a stomach ache. What are you doing? What are you doing storing that inside? Just one momentary incident that takes place. So you learn to handle yourself, not handle them. Handle yourself. And the next thing you know, here's what a great being, and you're a great being. You're in the situation, somebody says something, you feel a little insulted, feel a little challenged, but you don't express it, you don't make a thing out of it. And at night, do some higher thinking, like we just talked about. Lots of things you can do. I'll give you another one later, all right? But that's a really good one. Will you please just stand on the stupid planet in the middle of nowheres and see why you're getting upset about nothing? And you basically learn to let it go. If you do that, when you see that person the next day, nothing's going to come back up, except you'll laugh and remind you how stupid you were the day before. And that's just beautiful. So you didn't scar yourself. Nothing outside can scar the inside. Nothing outside can scar the inside. What scars the inside is you created resistance to it when it came in. You stored it inside, and that's what will be there so that it bothers you for the rest of your life. There's nothing solid inside except your will. It's empty space, man. There's nothing in there. If there's something in there, you held it in there from your past. Then you held emotions in there, didn't you? Right? You pushed them away, held them in there. Now you're sensitive about them. You held this, and that's where your moods come from. That's where your every single thing comes from, is you stored this. A great being is capable of being empty inside. Things come in, they pass right through. Things come in, they pass right through. They still deal with them, but they don't deal with them out of reaction. They deal with them out of a sense of service. How can I help this situation? Not what do I need to do to manipulate the situation because I can't handle it. That's the deepest thing I can teach you about everyday life. You understand that? And we're doing it all the time. We even plan how to manipulate it. What are your goals for life? To manipulate everybody and everything that comes in contact with me so that I never get bothered. How about yours? And so that I always feel good. How do I do that? Okay, well, I can make enough money so I can drive this kind of car, and then I dress this way, and I could travel a lot because I really like traveling. In other words, just plan how to manipulate the outside world so that when it comes in, it makes you feel better instead of worse. Well, that's very interesting. How'd you decide? How'd you decide what you want? I'm telling you, it's based on past experiences. And psychology does teach you that. It says man is the sum of his learned experiences. That's where your preferences come from. That's where likes come from. That's where dislikes come from. You didn't just make them up. They come from your past experiences, left impressions. Why do they leave impressions? Because you didn't handle them well. You stored them inside. There's a color that I don't like that color. I just don't like that color. There's a reason. Go talk to Sigmund. Okay? There's a reason you don't like that color. Something happened when you were young, or this happened, or that happened. Okay, stuff you stored in there. So now you're running after your ghost, running after the patterns you stored. So don't suppress. Temporarily, you can willfully hold things together, but let them go. I hope you're hearing me. Don't store stuff in there. That's what's ruining your life. Life doesn't ruin your life. The fact that you stored stuff in there from the past is ruining your life. Because now you can't. Look how small your world has to be. When you start thinking about what you want, there's a whole universe of things going on all the time. But that's not what you want. You want the ones that when they come in, fit what happened to you in your past that you liked, and don't fit what happened in your past that you don't like. Well, you've now narrowed your life down to this tiny little thing of where you're going to be okay. And now you have to struggle to make that happen. A great being catches on, I'm not going to store any more of this stuff in here. There's your intent. Bad enough I got stuff in here. I ain't storing any more. I always challenge you. Yes, you meditate. Yes, you do mantra. Yes, you do all kinds of things. I want you to do this. Ready? Wake up in the morning and say, hi, I'm back. Okay, I'm going to handle today. I didn't handle yesterday so good. I sure as hell didn't handle my childhood. And no one handles high school well. But today I'm going to handle today. What does that mean? Moments are going to unfold in front of me today. They're going to come in, and I'm going to handle them. I'm going to let go. I'm going to process them as they're happening. And if I can't, I'm going to temporarily hold it together so I don't make a mess. It's much nicer if you thought someone was going to insult you, or you thought someone was hanging out with your boyfriend or girlfriend, and it turns out they were just doing math together or something like that, and you didn't say anything. I'm telling you, you're so relieved when you find out, all right? And so if you said something, now you have to be afraid of seeing the person because you feel like a fool. You laid that groundwork by expressing your garbage. So if you don't do that, it's much easier to let go. So during the morning, you wake up and say, I'm going to handle the day. All through the day, you remember. That's why I say, I'm going to handle it. I'm going to handle it. I'm just experiment. I'm going to handle it. And then at night, you look. How did I do? Generally not very good. But you look at it. You honestly look at it. Objective observation. And you process it at night. I ain't going to sleep with this. What's amazing is this is what Christ taught. He literally said, don't go to bed at night at odds with your neighbor. Work them out before you go to bed. Whoa, isn't that what you said? But you don't have to work out with your neighbor. You have to work out with yourself. I'm serious. You should be able to work. If you have to go talk to somebody, fine. But in essence, you're the one who held it in there. Let it go. So in the evening, relax and let it go. Aren't there things I shouldn't let go of? No. If you want things to screw up your life, keep them in there. Keep the pain in there. Keep the fear in there. Keep everything in there. Go on. You'll see it will pattern the rest of your life. If you want to be free, if you want to experience beauty and love and Shakti, you can't have stuff in there. So that basically you do your best in the morning to say, I'm going to have fun. It's a video game, right? It's a video game. You get all these Pac-Men and Pac-Women are trying to eat you up during the day, and you're learning how to let go, and you go till the end of the day, and what you didn't clean up, you clean up by letting go, and then you go into the next morning a higher being than you woke up the morning before. If you do that, you are a higher being every single morning you wake up. If you use the day properly. Earth is a place that souls are sent to evolve. How do you evolve? I just told you. Evolution means the ability to handle your environment. Right? Isn't that Darwinian evolution? Survival of the fittest? Who's able to handle, adapt? Adaptability? Is that not part of Darwin's thing? Same thing inside. Can you handle the reality that's unfolding in front of you? So that's the first level, is you don't suppress. Energies come in. There's nothing wrong with stuffing in your stuff. It's actually really good. A lot of stuff's in there, you don't even know it's in there. The tendencies, that's what I said, that the psychics painted your aura, that thing's all colored the way you made it be all through high school and grade school and parents and divorces. And it's all in there the way you built it, the way you stored it. So things come in and they hit it. Someday you will wake up and realize that's a blessing. It's a blessing because it's showing you where you have stuff. Now the question is, what are you going to do with it? Generally, we fight to not have it hit it. We try to protect ourselves, don't we? What are you trying to protect? You're protecting what's keeping you from God. How's that? You're protecting what's keeping you from love. You do that all the time. Oh, I think I'm feeling love, but I'm scared. I don't want to go too fast. I'm scared. I got hurt. I got hurt before. No, I got to be really cautious, right? Oh, protect yourself from love. Protect yourself from God. Protect yourself from Shakti. Protect yourself. See what happens. You will be well protected. You'll build walls around yourself. What does that mean? It means first let go. First let go. Then deal with the thing from a sense of openness. So on. So we're doing it in steps. So suppression, I hope you learn. I talked a lot about it. It's the best not to suppress because that stuff stays in there and it guides your whole life in the future. If you can't let it go right away. You basically hold it temporarily, and you work it through, hopefully, that day. I don't even want it to be in there for multiple days. And what happens is, if you can do that with small stuff, somebody says something, somebody didn't say something, somebody looked at you in a way that you thought maybe they didn't like you. Oh, you can't handle that, can you? Somebody was nicer to somebody else than they were to you, at least it looked that way. Like these little things, they're just nothing. Practice handling them. Just practice handling them. Why? Because you don't want that stuff stored in there. It will ruin the rest of your life. There are people who don't get along with their family. They don't get along with their sister. There's reasons. You stored something in there. She did this, she did that. When you were 5 years old. Now you're 53. You still don't talk. Do people do that? Answer me. Have you met people like that? Is that what you want to do? Make your life a mess because you weren't able to handle situations? So fine, you couldn't handle when you were 5, but when you see it getting hit and it's coming up, welcome it. I get to deal with this now. Does it hurt? Of course it hurts. It was stored with pain. It's going to come back with pain. You literally stored the entire pattern inside of you when it happened when you were 5. What she looked like and what she said and this and that, and what you felt and what you thought, all of that gets stored in that samskara, in that pattern of energy. And so when it gets hit, it's all going to come back up. But it's not coming back up to punish you. It's not coming back to challenge you. It's coming back up to say, do you really want this garbage? Because if you don't, here's an opportunity to let it go. But you don't. You push it right back down. Don't you talk to me like that. My sister talked to me like that. I told you I can't handle that. Stop it. You do that, don't you? You protect your garbage. The highest thing is to say, I don't want this garbage inside of me. I want love inside of me. I don't know about you. I want Shakti, spirit, pouring up inside of me. I want enthusiasm and passion for every single thing I do. When you like that, that's the only reason it doesn't happen. Because you store all that stuff in there. It's blocking your energy flow. That's the greatest thing I've talked to you all the time. You're filled with energy. You're filled with so much energy. Yogananda said, there's so much energy trying to get into you, it would blow you to pieces. You're not ready to handle it. It's too strong. Why? Because you have all these blockages that block the energy, and you're not ready to let them go. What we're talking about is, don't put more in right now. Don't worry about the old ones. Practice not storing more stuff with this tiny little stuff that happens every single day of your life. Somebody beeps at you. Somebody cuts you off. Somebody this, somebody that. Somebody, who knows? I don't know what to say. I'd be here all night giving examples. Okay. So, I literally have seen people, we get a lot of shoes out there, and somebody once said, oh, somebody took my shoes. Somebody took my shoes. Oh, my God. Right? They were right there. So, oh, here they are. Not only did that happen, but I guarantee you the next time that person comes to put their shoes down, I got to make sure I put them in a place where nobody takes them. They didn't take them. Do you hear me? Don't do it. Let go. You're supposed to be more conscious than you raise your lower self. Okay, so that's don't suppress. What's the next level? The next level from suppression, the energy is still there. Okay, it wants to express. Let's start with the negative energies first, because that you don't mind talking about. Anger wants to express anger. It comes out exactly the way it is inside. Anger comes out as anger, doesn't it? Fists swinging, pots flying, doors slamming. Come on, at some point I'm going to get you, all right? Doors slamming, this, that, words flying out. The ugliest words you ever heard in a million life. That is what expression is. So we've talked about suppression. Now we're talking about expression. So those energies are very, very strong. Anger's strong. Fear, right? Fear can make you run and do all kinds of things. You don't take care of people. You do different stuff. So that's expression. The other thing that you don't get as intense, what I'm talking about, is there are things that happen. I talked about this the other time. I don't want you to get it. I know it happens to you, where you think you're stable. Things are a certain way, this, that, and the other thing at your job, you get your family, you got this, you got that, and so on, and you're doing okay, and then something shifts. You don't even necessarily have to put your finger on it. Somebody once told me I had a dream, and I woke up from the dream, I was a different person. I didn't like what I used to like. I look at the person next to me, oh, who's that? Well, how did I end up here? You don't fit in your life anymore. That's just a shift in some scars. That's a shift in patterns inside. Surely you've experienced some of that. and the patterns shift, and the energy then flows differently. And you can try and hold it together, and whatever. I don't ever tell people what to do. But the net result is it wants to express itself this new way. Has anybody ever gone through such a thing? I know you don't tell anybody. It's complicated in there, isn't it? That's because you stored a billion different types of things in there. Nobody says that they're consistent with each other. And at any given time, something comes up. Or you meet somebody. Or, talk about the tennis coach. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Or just even something more innocent. You go into a hospital and you see people dying. That can change your life. Why? Because you haven't dealt with that part of you yet. The part that understands I'm going to die. And all of a sudden you're wild. But you go in, I never want to do anything that could ever danger me. I don't want to ride in cars anymore. I never get into an airplane ever again. I have to protect myself. Or, my God, I don't know how many years I have left. And you go wild. Anybody understand? That shifts in your patterns. That shifts into some samskaras. And they come up and they want to express themselves. And it's difficult to deal with. So whether it be the anger types of expressions, whether it be, there's all sorts of things happen. This is serious talk. You understand that? You have to live in there, don't you? But there's things that you can do to make it much more beautiful to live inside. So that was suppression. I just talked about expression. Is there anything wrong with suppression? No, it's just know the consequences. Is there anything wrong with expression? No, just know the consequences. People talk about karma. I don't like to talk about karma. I never talk about karma. Why? Because people think that karma is a punishment. You did this, you have bad karma. You're going to pay for this. That's not what karma is. Karma is your teacher. If you sit there and throw out this energy onto your spouse and say all kinds of things just because you're having trouble with something at work or something like that, don't you 1 minute think it's free. I don't care what they tell you. It hurts them, and they have trouble dealing with that, and then they have to suppress that or express that. It comes back. That's what it's meant. What goes around comes around. You see it every day of your life. Don't make it complicated. What you throw out sets the patterns that are going to come back. And so you have to deal with your energy. What it boils down to, you have to deal with your energy. How? Suppression is a very low thing to do because it doesn't ever fix anything. Expression is a very temporary release, but expression doesn't get rid of samskara. Oh, it doesn't get rid of the energy that built up because of the blockage. It's like there's something blocking the energy, and temporarily it got pushed out of the way. Whoa! All this energy goes flying out. The blockage is still there until you deal with it properly. You haven't released the blockage. You let it express itself. So what is the alternative to suppression and expression? But nobody said there's anything wrong with these things. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel ashamed of anything. Just be conscious. Be aware. Notice what's going on. Do you understand that? I mean, okay, you guys are serious. Have a real talk. Ramakrishna, he was a brahmachari his entire life. He was a Brahmin priest, beautiful soul, enlightened, so high, it's ridiculous. All he cared about was God. But he had disciples. And one of them came and said, your other disciple over there, we saw him going into a house of ill repute. You know what that is? Probably you know what that is. All right? If the kids are here, they won't know. We saw him going into a house of ill repute. You know what Ramakrishna told him? He said, if you must go into a house of ill repute, bring God in with you. Don't let go of the hand of God. No matter what you're forced to go through, do your best. You understand that? Isn't that beautiful? That's an enlightened master. Okay? And so it's the same thing. No one gets to tell you what you can and cannot handle. Everybody's different. Everybody's got different blockages. Everybody's got different energy flows. All right? What you do is you do your best not to suppress, because that just makes more blockages. All right? You do your best to not unconsciously express, to just release energies. Let's put it this way. The energy shouldn't decide what you're doing. You should decide where they're coming out. And that's a very high center, that you're centered enough to be able to handle every single thing that comes up inside of you. I told you, Ramakrishna said, does an enlightened being ever feel anger? He said, yes, but it's like riding on water. There's a minute it comes, you can pass it right through. Doesn't do anything. There's no need to express it, no need to suppress it. There it goes. Wouldn't that be nice? So yes, we have human emotions. Do you have human emotions? Of course you do. And different teachers teach you different things. Get into them. To me, because I'm kind, what they mean is don't suppress them. When they tell you to get into those kind of emotions, get into your anger, feel it totally, all right? get a stomach ache. But it's better than suppression. Okay? There's a higher thing to do with these things besides having to play with them. But you have to be evolved. You have to learn how to work with your energies. So what's higher than suppression and expression? Transmutation. What does that mean? If you can get out of the way inside, consciously, step back, just step back, and let them come up, like he said, like riding on water, let them come up. Doesn't mean you're perfect at it, but just say, I don't want to suppress this. I do not want it determining my life through expression. Not that there's anything wrong with expression. There are things that expression, you can express some things, right? But I don't want it running my life. I don't want energies that are the result of my blockages running my life. Okay? So what do? You breathe, you step back, you relax, and you start practicing letting the energy come up. What do you mean? Well, you start by saying, I can handle this. Just doing everything you can to not let that energy suck you into it. All right? And a certain amount you'll hold it. A certain amount it'll want to come out and say something. You'll leak. Ever leak? Come on. Now you're listening to me. I like that, right? I know she's sensitive about this. I don't want to talk about it. We keep fighting. I won't mention it. And it leaks out the minute you go one-to-one. Boom, it's coming out of your mouth. Isn't that cute? You have to see it as cute, all right? You have to learn to work with your energies. So when you can relax and step back, a very great thing, and this, by the way, is yoga. This is yoga. That when you step back inside, witness consciousness, establish a seat of self, breathing, step back, and keep your hands off the energy. That is not easy, and a lot of times you're not ready to do it. But there are areas where you are ready. It's not like you evolve everywhere is equal. You have relationships, you got physical interactions, you got jobs, you got this, you got ego, all kinds of stuff. And some of you are better handling one area than another. That's fine. But you just start practicing in an area you can. Can I step back, take a breath, and let this pass by? A very great thing happens when you can do that. That energy was stored down, blocked in the lower centers. Now something stimulated it. Doesn't mean positive. It could be somebody says something to you don't like. Okay, it starts, talk about going around in there. If you can relax, the energy that was down there now becomes part of your seat of consciousness. You become stronger up here. You used to get pulled down there into the energy. Now that energy came up, the very energy of anger, of lust, of this, of that, of passion, of fear, whatever it is. All of them are the same. All energy is the same. They're just blocked energy trying to come up. And when you're able to relax behind them, all right, here's a good way to see it. Do you not have hands inside that can push things away? Can you manipulate emotions and thoughts inside of you? Yes or no? All right? I like to look at it as those are the hands of the unevolved self using will to try to control things in there so that you can handle them. All right? What if you sat on your hands? The inner hands. You just said, I ain't touching this. Oh, all right? If you don't touch it, it's going to come closer to you. It's coming closer because you used to keep it away. I can't handle it. So it's going to come up. Relax. Relax. Eventually, you will reach a point where you see those energies all of a sudden change their vibration and they become love. They become Shakti. They become God. They become what they are. All that energy is the same energy. It's Shakti. It just has different vibrations because it's hitting your blockages. But it's all totally God energy. So now it comes up and you're able to keep your hands to yourself and relax behind it and not fight it. And you're going to find out for yourself what I mean, that energy transmutes into consciousness. All of a sudden you're more centered than you were before. You're more able to handle things than you were before. Like the minute you say you have a lot of fear about something, you're fear driving, you grab everything when somebody else is driving, you just like that. Not everybody's like that, but some people are like that. You're not getting in an accident every time somebody drives, okay? You have to be the one who's driving, otherwise you're all like that, okay? What if you decided to work with that? And so every time you went to grab, you just relaxed. You took a risk. Oh, my God. Oh, look, he's turning. Oh, my God, will he stop at that light or not? Oh. Okay? And you know what I'm talking about. Use your own examples. So you dare to relax in the face of it. You take the risk of letting that urge not run your life. Okay? Over time, you become clearer. And not only are you capable of handling the situation of driving with fear, but anything that has that same amount of power over you that you used to get sucked into, now that you learn to handle that, you can handle everything at that level. Not just fear, the same thing with whatever. And all of a sudden you're growing spiritually because you let this energy transmute into your higher self. So there's suppression, there's expression, and there's transmutation. And transmutation is, of course, the highest thing you could possibly do, but you're not ready to do it. Don't feel guilty or nothing. What you do is the best that you can to understand these different levels of working with your energy flow. But the more you let it go, now it's not down there bothering you. Now it's up here giving you strength. Eventually, and I'm sorry, you have to listen to me, it turns into ecstasy. What do you mean? Ananda doesn't mean I'm happy. It means I'm in a state of bliss. That is the nature of yourself. That's the nature of Shakti. It's such an Ananda, eternal conscious ecstasy. And when you've let go of enough, it all comes up and you can feel waves, just waves and waves of the highest thing you've ever felt in your life. Intimacy and winning the lottery and somebody clapping because you did so well at your concert, all right? That type of energy just is constantly going on inside of you, constantly raising you up. You're being fed from inside. What did Christ say? Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that leaveth the mouth of God. That's what he's talking about. You're experiencing this beautiful energy flowing up inside of you. And eventually it gets strong enough. Why? Because you were willing to not go down. You worked with it to bring it up. You will not get it right away. You will not get it all right at once. But this is your work of your life. This is the work of your life to reach these ecstatic high states so that you learn to let the energies go up. Every single energy come up inside of you is meant to go to God. Even anger, even lust, even greed. Every single energy inside of you is divine Shakti being blocked by your blockages that you stored in there. Someday you're going to see that for yourself. So as you let go of the blockages, the energy gets less disturbed, it raises up, and you start being clearer up here. And you start feeling these waves of joy. And when that happens, you get to make a conscious decision. She says something to me and insulted me. Is that worth going down for? Is that worth giving up love? Giving up Shakti? Giving up God? Giving up ecstasy? Because somebody said something to you that your ego didn't like? And pretty soon your ego becomes cute. This is a cute little thing down there. Hi! We're not going down. It's okay. You can do your little thing for a while. But I ain't going down there. No way I'm going down there. It's too nice up here. Now you're getting there. And you just add more and more because you did that. Now more goes up. You just get higher and higher and higher and higher. Sure, you can meditate. It's wonderful. I've taught you. Meditate, go into beautiful states. People will teach you how to do that. That's wonderful. Of course you should do that. I want to know why you come back down. Because it doesn't take you a nanosecond from the time you get up off that pillow to start having that mind and emotions, and then somebody says something or the phone rings. What's that? Oh my God, who's calling me? Oh, I hope it's not so... All of a sudden, you're not in such a meditative state, are you? You do this. You work with your energy every day of your life, constantly with every single thing that's happening, and you're going to find out you're in a meditative state all the time. You want to meditate, sit down and meditate, there's just joy inside of you. And when you get up, there's joy inside of you. But those aren't the real high states. So now what happens is the lower energies can't pull you down because you rose them up, not because you pushed them away, not because you suppressed them, not because you expressed them, but because you transmuted them. Now you've got all this beautiful energy flowing inside of you. Now what happens is there's a different energy which very few people get to feel or have ever felt. That energy was pulling you down into it. You know that anger pulls you down into it. Jealousy pulls you down into it. This energy is pulling you up. All of a sudden, it's going up so strong, it's literally pulling you up from inside. You feel it pulling you up. And it's not that easy to let go. It's almost as if it's asking you to let go of your sense of being. Not just let go of your anger. Now let go of who you thought you were. It's just pulling your consciousness up higher than looking down at your stuff. And little by little, you learn to let go. You learn to let go. This is where the great ones went. Now you understand what enlightenment means. When you're able to let go into that energy flow, it's not something you do. You just surrender. That's the ultimate surrender. You surrender to the energy flow. Christ said you must die to be reborn. That's what he's talking about. Master once said, Christ belongs to the yogi. This is why. Because every word he said, an enlightened master understands. You have to be willing to die of the personal self to merge into your spiritual self. And so basically you will let go more and more. Your whole life changes. You don't need to control the outside because you're okay inside. You're in a state of bliss, of ecstasy inside. So what do you do with the outside? It still unfolds. You're in here. You're fine. And so I'm telling you, it's so natural. You just serve it. Why would you not? Here's a person standing in front of you. They need food. You give it to them. You don't need someone to say, oh, thank you. You don't need someone to know that, hey, watch me, I'm giving it to them. It's just like you don't need anything. The word giving a master doesn't give. Giving means I have something I need, but I'm going to give it to you. I have nothing that I need. So there's just a natural flow. The rivers don't give to the ocean. They just fall into the ocean. This is how your life becomes. It's the Tao. That's what Lao Tzu meant by the Tao. You just get to a point where there's nothing going on inside of you but joy and love. And so when you interact with the outside, that's all that's coming out is joy and love. And it comes out as giving. It comes out as healing. A true master doesn't go, oh, I'm going to heal you. Okay? It just happens all around them. You become a very great being. True masters are very, very great beings. But we've gone the whole way now from suppression, which creates a messy human being, to expression, which generally creates a messy life. But there's nothing wrong with it. Don't you dare think that I'm telling you not to do these things. You're going to go through what you need to go through. I just want to give you a roadmap. That's all we've done tonight is a roadmap. If the energies can relax and go up, the energy doesn't relax, you relax in the face of it, you will see it changes its nature and it comes up. And then basically the whole spiritual path just becomes one of giving your life to God, just letting go, let him pull you up. It's like he went fishing and he caught you. Guess what? The fish goes back and forth. He tries to hide in the rocks. What for? Just relax, man. Let him bring you up, right? It's nice. That's very difficult, though, isn't it? That's true surrender. That's the highest state of surrender. You just let go. And life will unfold in front of you. And people ask me, how do you know what to do? I can't answer you since there's no you there. There's no longer a you there. There's just the merger of life, consciousness, creation, and it's all unfolding together, and just that's how it is. That's all. Okay. Well, I hope that gives you some benchmarks along the way of how to work with your energy. And don't judge yourself, and don't judge others, because it's not easy to work with these energies, is it? That's how you learn compassion. All right. Work with these things. Jagrative.